I met him 15 years ago. I was told there was nothing left. No reason, no conscience, no understanding, and even the most rudimentary sense of life or death, of good or evil, right or wrong. I met this 6-year-old child with this blank, pale, emotionless face and the blackest eyes, the devil's eyes. I spent 8 years trying to reach him, and then another 7 trying to keep him locked up, because I realized that what was living behind that boy's eyes was purely and simply evil.
What do we do?
He's been here once tonight. I think he'll come back. I'm going to wait for him.
I still think I should notify the radio and television.
No. If you do that, they'll see him in every street corner. They'll look for him in every house. Just tell your men to keep their mouths shut and their eyes open.
I'll check back in an hour.
Welcome back to our little Halloween marathon, everybody. If people are going to be rolling in, I don't know. This kind of pops in late. So anyway, we're going to keep the show rolling, though. So far, we have done, and I didn't put my earrings in tonight because the headphones this one made it sore. So I had my cute spider earrings on all day. And yeah, here they are. But my ears are too sore to deal with them today, so no earrings. I hope you guys can hear me. My ears are too sore to deal with them today, so there we go. All right, so we are continuing on down our Halloween countdown, and we started with. Let's see, who have we done so far? We did Ginny Weaver, who we've done before, so we're familiar with her. She's a familiar face around the Hive. And then we did last night with Mark Reed. We did a good evening, Kira. We did a look at oh my gosh, why is my name Bob Larson? Why was his name escaping me? That's so crazy. The Real Exorcist. So those are both kind of they're sort of a big headline voice, I guess, that even outside of the circles, the evangelical circles, who they are. But I decided that we'd also include some smaller ministries or smaller ministry representation. Hello, look at the trees. Because I haven't, I kind of like to do people, or to do people. I kind of like to do people no one's done before. No, yeah, I'm looking for virgin fundamentalist anti-Halloween videos to harvest and reap. That's what I'm doing. No, just listening to a new voice is always kind of interesting. So the channel that we picked on the poll for today is it's not a small channel. She has over 20K subscribers. So I mean, that's from where I'm sitting, that's a pretty big channel. So she's got a lot of support, I would say. But yeah, she's got her channel is called Jesus is Truth. This video is called Halloween Warning from an Ex-Witch, warning heavy talk, that inspired the thumbnail. So we're going to see what the heavy talk's all about. There's another Ex-Witch in the comments there. Let me go down there and read those after we watch the video. It's about 25 minutes long. We'll see if it gets too boring. There's other. I mean, I don't know. I'm not accusing her of being boring. She seems like a very very pleasant and well-meaning person. But we'll see what kind of misinformation that she's disseminating, because that's the important thing. Someone can be a nice person. Someone can be your friend and disseminate misinformation. You know what? Bree can disseminate misinformation, and spread that around. So if you all hear me say something that's not true, call me out in the side chat. Not call me out, but like say, hey, that's not true. I will look into it. I will. Oh, there goes my eyelash. Ouch. Yeah, these lashes, I swear, they're brand new, but the glue on them wasn't very good. I'm gonna go off screen for just a second. Okay, I'll be right back. Sorry about that. That was kind of twofold. Ambulance just went by too, just with the sirens blaring. I heard it coming, but I think I fixed my lash all right. If not, I will continue on regardless. So, hey Mark, good to see you. Yeah, please stand by. Technical difficulties with makeup. This is my first time really dealing with fake lashes. I love them. I love the way they make my eyes pop. So I'm gonna probably gonna keep using them if I can. So yeah, if I can figure out how to get them to stay on. Anyway, so this is Jesus' Truth, and she's gonna give us some warnings about Halloween. Mark, if you want to come in again tonight, let me know. I'll drop you a link to the StreamYard.
Hi, brothers and sisters. I hope you can hear me. Let me put this a bit closer. Here we go. So this video is going to be about Halloween, and from the perspective of someone who was involved in witchcraft before coming to Christ. Just for a warning, there's going to be some quite heavy things I talk about. The Lord's given me quite a burden and like a duty, I feel, to talk about these things to his people. So a little bit about.
So I'm not his people, so I'm taking an no, you're fine, Mark. I just wanted to let you know the invitation's always open when I do these evening streams, or I guess they'd be like early or midday streams for you. When I do these especially on the weekends, you're always welcome to come in, Mark. Okay, just keep that in mind. Love having your insights. So, yeah.
My background is I was involved in the occult, and Halloween, the history of Halloween is where there's all of the history of where people used to dress up like evil spirits to try and camouflage on that night, because there was so much activity from evil spirits. And the way that the townsfolk would ward them off would be to dress like them, to camouflage like them. And if they conformed like the evil spirits, they were believed to be less likely to be targeted and messed with by the evil spirits. Now,
I guess, I mean, we've talked about this a couple of times this week already, and I knew that we are going to be on hitting the repeat button on a lot of the issues that arise when we talk about the evangelical take on Halloween. I knew that there was going to be some repeat misinformation campaigns, but it's because it's not. I'm not saying that she's specifically like, oh, I'm out to misinform you, but I don't know, and maybe she'll get into her witchcraft background. She might. I hope she does, so that we can get a better understanding of where she's coming from. But right now, I feel like these things that she's said about Halloween so far are going to, in what I expect to see moving forward, are going to be things that would be considered just folklore and mythology, and not the mythology of the actual witches, but mythology of how Christianity viewed European witches, especially during the Middle Ages, when the church was spreading into areas of Northern Europe where they were getting pushed back from the traditional old ways of those respective regions, and presenting the practices of the old ways as especially when you get into the Alps, when you get to these little villages back in the Alps, and there's still vestige of the culture there, where the goat people, or taking on that pastoral goat deity identity, the forest and wilds, the wild man, yeah. And they do that's part of their culture, right? So to demonize that and to give that image as a satanic figure, as an evil entity that is oppressing your society, and pulling them away from the true God, then you're gonna get that kind of pushback and this folklore that this is all rooted in. So let's continue on and see what she has to say.
As an ex-witch, I know that night is very, very important for the Kingdom of Darkness. It's the time where the veil is thinnest. It's where you get all of your sorcerers, magicians, witches, warlocks, wizards, shamans, druids, all of those spiritual people that are involved in the dark side. And
well, I don't think all those people would consider themselves part of the dark side, though. I think that among people that practice what you said, what you listed off there, warlocks and witches and druids and all those shaman and whatnot, they all are probably very much on just the same type of spectrum the rest of society is. There's some good people, there's some nefarious people, and there's most of the population probably falls somewhere in the middle on how they consider their magical practices to be, sort of a neutral ground where you might do selfish things, or what you consider selfish things. And I don't believe in magic at all. Like, I don't believe in sympathetic magic. I did at one point in time. I basically did experimentation on it. I formed a hypothesis that if magic works, then we will go through all these different traditions and try to see if anything comes to fruition from any of it. That's how I turned away from from most beliefs. I mean, and prayer was the same way. Just comparing it to chance, and it doesn't always pan out. So that's why I turned away from neo-pagan beliefs. But even when I was in that culture, I didn't consider it. I don't say when I still have neo-pagan friends and acquaintances. So it's not like this is far away and far removed from like what I'm dealing with today. I still talk to people who are very much of a neutral position, or even consider themselves leaning more towards the positive side. Yeah, let me derail the conversation for just a second to address this. Yeah, totally off topic, and I'll only mention it because Yeah, oh my. I can't believe Daddy Elon. No blood shall rain from the sky. Haha. Yeah, it's gonna. You know what? I don't think that, like, in my day-to-day life. Why are you? Hold on just a second again. Technical difficulties abound. Good grief, what a night. Keep having all kinds of issues. My stream's okay. No, my so I uh shoveled some things around to try to plug in this flickery lamp, but it didn't even get off enough light to be seen, so there was no point in it. And then when I did, I guess I had bumped the power cord for the laptop, so it unplugged it. No, my stream is okay, but it was like, oh, you might consider plugging in your like, what happened? So they were hanging in there with me and prolonging the stream a little bit, but that's okay. I don't know where we were even in the conversation, so we're gonna pick right back up. Maybe we are.
You know, what we were talking about recently in the Bible study was how the occult, the word the occult means hidden, right? So a lot of those people that do ceremonies on Halloween night, a lot of them don't know that they are aligning with the devil. I mean, I didn't know until
What
I
is
came to the Lord.
is there some place in biblical lore that associates the devil with Halloween? I just don't. I don't know where that finds its origins at, other than that, hey, this was pagan and we don't like it, so we're gonna demonize it, like what I was talking about before with the Northern European cultures having this witch image attached to them. The like a creepy old woman living, maybe a hermit, living off by herself, doing spells, and two of her. Let me try putting my headphones on. Where did I stick them? I don't know what I do with my headphones. I usually stick them right back here. I'm a hot mess. You know, maybe my door was open earlier. I will see if I can find them. But yeah, the image of a the witch with the pointy hat and the being alone seclusion with the big cauldron and casting spells, that comes from like a northern European pagan practices, just the folk magic of the area prior to Christianity, and it's just a bastardization of it. there's just it says Halloween is evil because it's spooky, and for no other reason than that. Yeah, but it's me and Mark were talking last night, but Christianity's kind of spooky. There's like they're like, oh yeah, all this dark imagery, but Christian imagery is all about blood and torture, and I don't get it. I don't get the where they draw the line. What of is it just because it's Jesus that it gets a pass? I'm gonna grab my headphones before I play her again, because I don't want y'all to have double echo. If I can find them. My ears were sore from the ear. I was in the office. I don't really have to be in the office today, but I kind of volunteered. Yeah, and ghost and necromancy in the Bible, there absolutely is. Look at the trees. A lot of necromancy. Jesus was a necromancer. He raised Lazarus. I mean, it's part of the mythos. Let's see what else she has to say.
The occult means hidden, and sometimes that is hidden from the person doing it. A lot of the time, people are involved in the occult without even knowing it. And see, the enemy is like this. He tricks us. And so,
and with that notion in mind, how do you know you're not being tricked into believing all this stuff that you believe? How do we know that what you think is you're not some tricks misleading? Maybe Yahweh is Loki.
So let's rewind it a little bit. And I'll just share with you a little bit about
Hopefully you share your foundation for thinking that other religions are tricking you away from Christianity, and that Christianity, you have validation that Christianity is the real one and not the one that's got the trickster God that's trying to trick you.
my story. I was involved in witchcraft as a child, very young child. I asked the air, and if you're a Christian, you know that the devil is the prince and the power of the air. I asked the air, the universe, I asked anything to show me the truth. I didn't ask God particularly when I was a child. And I was led through these series of events of just getting more and more entangled in witchcraft, because I thought that was where I could find truth, because that's where I thought that the realm that we can't see, which must happen, must exist, there must be more to life than this. I thought that existed, and I, as a young child, I delved really deeply into witchcraft, and I also practiced dark magic, voodoo, and I've renounced all of these things.
You practiced dark magic and voodoo, like real voodoo, Caribbean folk magic, makes splash of Christianity, or Catholicism more specifically. I always like to read, right? It's folk magic and mysticism, splash of Catholicism, and then you get up into the Appalachian area. There's still the backwoods folk magic, hoodoo. Hoodoo is also present in a lot of the South as well, and it's folk magic with a splash of Protestantism. So, yeah.
I did Ouija boards all the time, took them to school, got loads of people involved with them when I was young.
Me too. I love Ouija boards. They were so fun. It's ideomotor movement. So, yeah.
I was very, very foolish and very, very willing to explore this realm at a young age. Now, this ended so badly for me. This ended up with me being completely terrified and terrorized. it led me to seeing dark shadows walking around my door. Every time I looked at my door in my bedroom, I'd see around a 7-foot dark shadow silhouette moving across. I would see.
Yeah, it's that's actually a common one too, especially for when you're laying in bed at night and you got your brain primed with ideas of dark magic and witchcraft. Get your brain all primed to see shadows and movement. Yeah, I can definitely see that. I can definitely see that happening. People do report shadow figures, and shadow people are a topic that we can definitely talk about. So I think shadow people are like an optical and mental phenomena, but I would be willing to entertain anybody's shadow people stories. So if you are in my side chat or watching this later, and you can put in the comments below if you have experience with shadow people you think are valid. I would love to explore the topic with you and look into what possible origins those experiences could have.
And I would be pushed down to the ground from above. I would feel a heavy force. One time it pushed me down to the ground. I had voices. I had condemnation. I wasn't aware of God, but I was aware of the devil at that point. And when I got involved,
I wasn't aware of God, but I was aware at that point. So did you think can there exist the biblical there really can't exist the biblical devil without the biblical God because they're part of the same narrative? But I could see how there could be malevolent entities. That's kind of like the Lovecrafty idea that there are greater powers out there in the universe, but they don't really care about us, and they're too horrific for us to comprehend. Cosmic horror is what it's called. Like sometimes call them eldritch abominations, or dark horrors from beyond the stars. But the idea of so there being this dichotomous good and evil, that there is a unclean and somewhat chaotic hierarchy of extra dimensional entities that are the closest thing in reality to the existence of God. And you can have uh, paranormal beliefs that extend into that. It could actually extend into ancient alien kind of stuff. You could build a whole a belief system on this notion that there is no all loving God, but only uh, dark out beyond the own power is cold and callous, the only real power in the universe. There's no reason why that can't be a thing. I used to think I was being abducted by aliens as a kid. What? But I knew God and Santa was fake. Yeah, well, aliens are, I mean, it's an organic idea. I've had experiences with sleep paralysis, and this seems familiar to her story. Yeah, I didn't have sleep paralysis when I was a kid, though. I was an adult when I had sleep paralysis. When I was a kid, it probably would have scared me.
involved in magic, it was too late, or so I thought. And I was told I was owned by the dark forces, that I was inherently evil and there was nothing I could do about it. And I carried this condemnation as a child for a very long time because I was involved in witchcraft.
Aw, see, and that's something that society would have put upon you. Made you feel shame for experimenting with different aspects of I guess engaging with reality. Yeah, how do you know to find what's real or not if you don't participate? But like I spent my youth dabbling in all sorts of different faiths and belief systems, and following different aspects of ancient cultures that were alleged to give you some sort of insight or divine understanding, and it never panned out. So I mean, if you've had that now, I hope that you go into that and explain how all these other faiths are. Yeah, she seems like a nice woman. Yeah, but being told, when you're a child, being carrying that burden that because you did this, and I know what that's like, because there were uh evangelical people in my school when I was a kid, and we were into woo woo and Ouija boards and all that. They call us devil worshippers and that. So, I mean, there is an inherent cultural shame that is put on to us by Christian society if you participate in neo pagan traditions.
It opened up doorways to me as a child that no child should open. And I was so nervous. I used to sleep at nighttime with the bed covers over me with a tiny hole to be able to breathe out of, because I was so terrorized. I used to count every word that I said on my fingers. It was like a nervous twitch. And if I said enough words to have a space on this finger, then I was good. And then if I didn't, I was condemned. There was just so much for my small child mind to deal with when I'd opened up that can of worms of witchcraft and magic. It's real. It's real. And
So it sounds like maybe she was dealing with some personal stuff too, like her family may have been dealing with. Almost sounds like maybe some OCD like behavior, but I'm not like a psychoanalyst or anything like that. I don't know, but the counting the words and things like that. Um, Sounds like maybe there was more going on than just these supernatural experiences, and her being labeled as evil or the devil or whatever they were implying.
believe me, you don't want to be in a place where you get involved in that frivolously and sillily and then end up realizing, what have I got involved in? So I, as a child, threw away and burnt my tarot cards. I mean, I did tarot readings when I was little. I was involved in so much of the
I'm
occult.
kind of curious what she means when she says when she was little, because when I say when I was little, I mean like, I don't know, maybe younger than than 8, maybe. When I say little, maybe than young. Well, yeah, 8. I'd say because if it's older than 8, I'd say when I was a kid. From 8 to about 13, and then I'd say when I was a teenager. But I don't know what she means when she says when she was little, because I know when I was little, what I would consider little, under 8, I wouldn't have been able to have access to tarot cards unless somebody in my household was doing tarot and I used their cards, just because I wouldn't have been able to purchase them. I don't know if she was growing up in an evangelical household that thought that religion was evil, or not religion. I'm sorry, that witchcraft was evil, and of the devil. I don't imagine her parents would have been willing to buy her tarot cards.
At such a young age. And all I can remember being an influence on me for dark things was, me and a friend who practiced witchcraft together, we would go and see this lady, and she was a Buddhist, and we would go to her, and I think we were around 6, and we would go to this Buddhist's house, and this was kept from my memory for a very long time, and we would do rituals with prayer beads, and
kept from her memory for a very long time. Wonder what that's about. I wonder if we're going to get into that.
And mantra saying, I think I tried to find it, and it was something about nature worship, and I mean that's where I ended up going. So I had the influence of a lady doing a ritual. I had influence of things like Halloween. I remember me and my friend would make gravestones, as in like paper ones, and stick them on the wall on Halloween night.
I literally have gravestones lining the whole of my house right now, paper and styrofoam. Some of them are cardboard. The kids are having a Halloween party on Monday, actually, here. I'm gonna hide because I don't want to party with a bunch of teenagers. It's Ian, he's 18, and all his teen and young 20-ish some friends. And I'm not gonna be I'm not gonna stick my nose in that, I don't think. Uh, yeah, I like it's weird how she says that like it's some horrific act that they were participating in. No, making spooky scary skeletons. Spooky scary skeletons is just the perfect example of why Halloween is not, I don't know. I don't know how it's dark fun. It's not dark evil. It's fun. It's Beetlejuice. It's I don't know. It's yeah, and I talk about Evil Dead. Yeah, Evil Dead even is silly. Friday the 13th has silly installments. There's a certain there's certain cuteness to Halloween. Ghosts and goblins and witches and warlocks and yeah, no, it's all in good fun. I think most people don't think that this stuff is like real. I don't think that, oh, I'm really trying to emulate a ghost. That's not the kind of position that they're taking. Yeah, I like the paranormal and cryptids too, obviously, right? I talk about them all the time. So yeah, stick around, Godseed. If this is I'm glad that this is the kind of content. I'm glad I'm finding my audience because yeah, if you're part of cryptid communities and stuff, if you want to share my cryptic corner videos over there, I got a playlist of them because that's an audience that I really haven't been able to tap into because most of my followers want to. I mean, I'm not saying that they aren't into the cryptic stuff, but most of them want to are focused mainly on the creation watch kind of stuff like this, where we talk about misinformation being presented from a fundamentalist religious point of view, especially when it comes to science. A lot of people like to want to see me tackle that stuff, but I love tackling the lesser myths, if you will, the ghosts and UFOs and all that sort of wild ride stuff. So yeah, if I harvest a good audience for that, because my core audience watches CryptoCorner video at least on Friday, watches, but just my core audience watches those from my statistics. Looking into them, which is fine. I mean, I'm happy to provide for my core audience, but I'd like to see if I can't cultivate more interest in that topic of interest that I cover, because I do like to branch out into to other communities and stick my nose into it, because I can only spend so many hours and over in LPP streams or Standing for Truth or deal with these people directly. There's other aspects and other directions I do like to explore, and there's an overlap because people like, well, I talked to Show Me Sasquatch. Sassy is a young Earth creationist, I believe, but he's also I think he's a flat earther and believes in all the cryptids and stuff. So engaging in that community, when I talk to those people, when I talk about like supernatural stuff, because it's more interesting to me than just straight up creationist and young Earth creationist belief, which those are interesting to me too, but only when there's certain cross sections with other secondary interests I have, like animal dispersal and evolution and things like that.
And sleep like this, and just we were so consumed with the darkness. We were so silly.
What's wrong with sleeping like this? I sleep like that sometimes, especially when I sleep on the couch. Yeah.
As well, because when you're a child, you don't know what you're messing with. You really don't. And if you have parents that don't know that magic exists, they are lulled to sleep as well by the devil. whilst the devil takes their children. And this is why I'm talking about Halloween, and that I've
Sounds like a diss on your own parents there a bit, but I mean, maybe because I don't believe in magic and supernatural stuff. It's just not something that's become evident to me. So I think your parents just being like, huh, yeah, play with your Ouija board, because it's just the same as like, or what they call those finger games where it tells you different things, or where you can do other little things where it's mostly little girls doing it to when I was a kid, that was always that they wanted to know who they would get married to. That was what all the, at least yeah, when we were when we were the diviners in our local junior high, me and my brother, when we were the witch diviners, but no, we had a Ouija board. They would send us with like sheets of questions they wanted us to ask the spirits. So yeah, that's the kind of stuff that we would do. Um, yeah,
got this heavy burden because that was my childhood with magic. Then I got rid of all those things, and then I went as a young adult, probably around 16, so teenager. I got involved in what I thought was white magic, and what I thought was I thought I was a light worker. That's what I called myself inside. I was like, I'm a light worker. I'm
hey, that's the term Maya was using. That's the term Maya was using when she was on the stream the other day about the neo pagans that she interacted with. They were calling themselves light workers. I guess there's that means you have there's a certain moral guideline to the magical works that you're allowed to do. Yeah, is it racist? It kind of sounds like, oh, this is white people magic, but no, it's on a spectrum, on a moral spectrum is actually where the white and black magic fall. Yeah.
here to oh, you don't even want to know what I believed. It was so
I do want to know what you believe. That's why I came here.
nuts. And so I got involved in tarot readings again, as in doing them, consulting runes. Anyway, I just was involved in magic again, witchcraft again, but it was repackaged into something that was light and was good, and it's to help people. And wow, was I wrong? The enemy.
Well, if it's the intention, I think with witchcraft is what determines that. If your intention positive intent for spreading overall good within your environment, then it should be considered white magic. Now, whether the results of that would be, and I don't, again, I'm just saying, with an internal critique, with the results of that could potentially have effects that you aren't prepared for, what they call the butterfly effect, where you anticipate what sort of minute variations that you are creating within the universe. So you could have good intentions and still cause catastrophe, right?
Chewed me up and spat me out. I was in this place of utter brokenness after I got involved with yoga, meditation.
With yoga, I do yoga. I have a yoga night that where it's where I don't have to do. It's my favorite because I don't have to push myself and work so hard. So because it's just stretching and rolling around and stuff.
Psychedelic drugs.
Mm.
Yeah, all of these things whilst doing ritualistic things. And
Psychedelic drugs. Now we're starting to get into some of the ideas about the visions you were having. Maybe this is after though. So this is after the visions that you were having. I don't know if I was proof positive, interacted directly when I was a child with supernatural entities. I don't know if I would want to participate in recreational drug use. I think that would scare me.
there's just so much that I could go into, but I don't want to focus too much on all of that. But by the end of it, I was, I was friends with Satanists, I was friends with shamans, I was friends with druids, I was friends with Wiccans, I was friends with, pretty much people that thought they were really fairies. I was like friends with like pretty much even physicists that would explain away reality. I was friends with all.
That was such a weird addition. She added physicist on there. Like, what? Physicist? With witches and warlocks and druids and shamans.
Realms of magic and basically different forms of the occult. And I just thought it was all, different ways that people experience reality and different ways that people have their own walks, and everyone's truth was subjective, and I had no idea. I was lost, completely lost. And I was going to be someone to advocate for ayahuasca down in Cornwall. I had friends with shaman energy healers up in Glastonbury, and they wanted me to be an advocate for the rituals down in Cornwall.
I've heard some icky things about ayahuasca. I don't know if I'd try that when it's. Yeah, and then that's my thing too. Is what's wrong with being friends? I have Christian friends, evangelical Christian friends that I know think that I'm going to hell, that I know think I'm. Well, we won't go down that rabbit hole, but there is close as of a friend as I can have it, and as long as you're not talking about I mean, and I shouldn't say as though you're not, because I do talk to my Christian friends about these ideas, sometimes quite in depth. So, I mean, this is what it is. But I have friends of all walks of life, and I encourage everybody else to as well, because that'll help us sort out what is real, right? It'll help us once we start these conversations. I bet she even had some Aussie friends too. Yeah, that's like Mark Reed.
Gathering, basically a coven, gathering a group of people together to do energy healing and ayahuasca and psychedelics and different things to alter your mind. So I have a little bit of experience in all of these things. Now, when I came to the Lord, it's very simple. There is the kingdom of light and the kingdom of darkness. You're either with Jesus or you're not with Jesus.
That's the problem, right? That it's a dichotomy. That's the issue, right? I mean, that's where all the problems find their source, is in this dichotomy that we have, or that Christians have, I should say, about the nature of any other belief system at all. It has to be evil. It cannot be benevolent. It cannot be neutral. It has to be evil, because evil is the only other force in the universe outside of God.
And it made everything so much, everything made sense finally, because I had the eyes of Christ, and I realized just
God goggles, the eyes of Christ. If you're 555, then I'm 666. Yeah, I love me some Slipknot. My son's band's kind of like Slipknot. They're actually playing night up in Iowa called Sleeping with a Vampire. they do mask and stuff too, so it's kind of, and they're playing in Ohio. It's kind of, yeah, full on Slipknot, right? Simus, it's good to see you, by the way. I'm glad you made it in. It's gotta be like, oh, what, like 5 a.m. over there. Goodness gracious. Are you an early bird or a night owl?
What I was involved in, just what I was going involved in, and sorry, I get quite passionate about it because it's really, it causes me a lot of I think it's righteous anger, because there's so many people caught up in all of this that just think it's to help improve themselves and to improve the way that they treat others and to bring peace, and it's a false peace. It's a false peace, and the end of that is despair. Now,
why is it a false peace? Because it was just because it was a false peace for you, or you didn't find peace in it. I know that some of the happiest people I know are neo-pagan Earthchild people. They make me wish I could believe again. Actually, I mean, there was a time where I tried to believe in a lot of different things, but they do. You can't force yourself to have a belief is the problem. Otherwise, I'd probably still be a neo-pagan if I could force myself to believe like that. I just can't. So I'm an atheist. But that's what I wanted optimally was, yeah, for nature gods and things to be. I wanted that to be. I wanted to live in a hippy dippy world, and I was forced to accept that wasn't the existence that I was in. Yeah.
talking about all of this, I'm talking about all of this in regards to Halloween, because Halloween is a festival, a celebration, a time. Really, it's a massive spell night, a massive night of incantation and ceremonial. You know, like if you're involved in all of that stuff, you wait till this night for special and specific purposes.
I think that finds its origins more in the wheel of the year that neo-pagans kind of utilize this, just dividing the year into eighths, and at each bisect point put a sabbat, and the one that divides the year in half between growing darker and lighter for the Northern European cultures was the one that took place on Halloween, and then on Beltane on May Day, May 5th, I want to say. Anyway, so that was split. The year was split right there. So that was why that was an important day. But Beltane is important. So, 6 other important days on that wheel as well. Depending of spell we're trying to do specifically, like love spells, you wouldn't do those on Halloween. If you wanted to try to reach a dead loved one or get a message from beyond, that would be maybe a spell work that a Wiccan would do on Halloween. But yeah, if you're trying to do other things, if you're trying to get do a spell to help someone get pregnant, you might do it on Easter, or what they call it in the Wicca lore, Ostara or whatever. Yeah.
Now, because the veil is missed, and it is, and maybe it's because of all of the ritual.
So she's a Christian who accepts that there's a veil between the land of the living and the land of the dead, because don't they think that being souls either go heaven or hell? There shouldn't be an option for there to be, and I guess Christians do. There are a lot of Christians who believe in ghosts. I never quite understood that. Like, does God make mistakes and get people trapped in between worlds? Yeah, that's what I think too. That maybe she had some personal issues going on too, and she just kind of linked them up together.
ritualistic stuff happening and so many people aligning with the kingdom of darkness, it gives it more power. I don't know, but you know how back in the day people would dress in costumes to look like they are evil spirits, to camouflage, so they would conform to.
And we've covered that multiple times already this week about where the dress up in costumes comes from. It is ultimately part of a ancient harvest folk tradition that co-opted by the Catholic Church as a day to honor the dead, because they decided that November 1st was going to be All Saints Day, so All Hallows Eve. The day before was you'd honor your loved ones, and then the next day you would honor the saints. But on the Hallows Eve, they would leave offerings out to the spirits of their loved ones, and then the notion of people in the town dressing up as spirits and coming out and taking your offerings, and so on and so forth, right?
Evil to be left alone. Now, isn't that so true in our Christian walk? When we are a light, when we are Christ's, we are then attacked. I mean, I had no idea when I was involved in the occult that I was really riddled with demons, really riddled with so much dark.
What makes you feel like you are riddled or were riddled with demons? What experiences are talking to the American origin? Because love and death are match made in heaven. Mm-hmm. They've created a whole world of ghosts and spookies to explain the stuff science has already explained. Absolutely. There's so many natural things that are now explained scientifically, which was also, again, like I was talking about, nature spirits and stuff like that, which is something you gotta get yourself turned away from a little bit. And Persephone, that she also came up with me walking the other day. So is going to be a frequently seen figure in this little series, because this was when she went down to down the underworld to spend her time with Hades with her husband, and her mom was sorrowful, and that's why you got the season.
Darkness, until I came to Christ and he filled me with his light, and then those things were revealed and exposed for what they were. These energy what's the word? Sorry.
Entity is the word, I think.
There's so much resistance for me getting this out. I don't know, it's just been pretty intense. Yes, there's a very good point I wanted to make. Yeah, so going on to that, sorry. So these
Bye, Mark.
different forces that light workers believe are of light and good, spirit guides, that's the word. These spirit guides and
Oh, okay. Spirit guides. I was wrong. Hey, Maya. Good to see you. I've name dropped you a couple times already tonight. So we just mentioned Persephone just came up when I was like, yeah, me and Maya were just talking about that. She's talking about spirit guides now.
and different entities that the people in witchcraft, when they see them as light, they are not light, they are dark, they're all dark. Only when you come to Christ do they reveal their true colors. And I've been in that, and
because becoming Christian also includes the you have to take that step to say that all other religious are demons. That's part of becoming Christian. It's part of what you have to accept is the philosophy of your new religion when you become a Christian, is that all these other gods and beings, entities, spirit guides are demons. Yeah. Hey, Big Bad Mama. I'm glad to see you back. Looks like you're liking the Halloween evangelical breakdowns, because they are not happy that there is a holiday that is dark and spooky. Spooky is the devil. Mama said spooky is the devil.
It's terrifying. It's absolutely terrifying to truly see what these entities, what these characters and personalities and things that are consulting you and telling you what they truly are is absolutely pure evil. Pure evil. Like
The spirits that you were using to help send positive healing energy and things when you were doing your light work, that was those were evil now. What aspect of them suddenly became evil just because you switched to Christianity? What were they doing? What were those specifically doing? And again, this is an internal critique. I'm saying within her worldview, if those spirits that she was convening with are actually evil, what was the evil that they were participating in?
I've never experienced or known such hatred and wanting to tear you apart as I have when I've come to Christ, and then those entities that I was dealing with before who were guiding me and, you know, showing me so much wisdom and giving me dreams and prophecy and leading me on this rabbit trail of destruction, when I truly saw them for who they were in Christ.
Well, why would you? So if you were communing with entities that you thought were real, and the stuff that you were having them do, or the guidance that you were getting from the spell work that you were doing with them, and the divination that they're offering, I should use the term prophecies, which is fine, I guess that works. But if those messages and things are leading you astray, why would you continue to commune with those entities specifically instead of finding ones that would lead you to a positive direction, or dismiss them as not positive at that time, and not only see that in this retrospect after you've converted to another religion that is preemptively telling you that all other interactions you've had in the spirit realm were with demonic entities specifically that were trying to trick you. I mean, that's a retrospective lens that you're looking at and saying, oh yeah, they were demons the whole time, but at the time you were interacting with them, it seems like you were getting maybe some positive results, but you say it was down a path of destruction. If the results you were getting were destructive, why were you continuing to commune with those spirits specifically instead of switching out to a different set of entities to engage with and see if you can't get more positive results, or giving up on the practice altogether? I don't know. Yeah, anyway.
Christ, it was terrifying. And the thing is, if you are celebrating Halloween, you're aligning with those things. You're aligning with the kingdom of darkness. You are, in fact, involved in their ritual. Now, you might not know that. So, you know, that's the thing with the occult. It's hidden knowledge.
So it's important for the occult that you take your children and you dress them as Power Rangers, and then you go ring the neighbor's doorbell and they give them Snickers bars, and that's the ritual Halloween.
It's hidden. So many people that are involved in it are taken as fools, and then, but not you, brothers and sisters, not you. You are children of God. You are not to align yourself with the enemy. It's not for you. That's not where you belong. You don't belong in playing games with something that is definitely not playing games. I mean, the devil is.
Well, it would be games to the devil, right? I mean, is a petty soul compared to all the host of hell and the host of heaven and all that, and that humans are kind of just little peons on that scale.
So evil. And the thing is, like, I know I never was a Satanist, as it were, but I align myself with Satan. And you could say I was somewhat more dangerous because I appealed to people as the light side of Satan when I was involved in.
But it wasn't Satan, at least, I mean, unless you thought at the time that you were engaging with Satan, you weren't a Satanist. You don't get to retroactively call your way practices just because your new religion implies that it was demonic, because at the time you weren't. And I was telling you, you get to apply whatever name to your past that you want, honey. But if you didn't consider yourself a Satanist at the time, I don't think you have to consider yourself a Satanist now. I don't think that that's fair to you. I don't think that even if you say it's true, you can be for internal critique. I don't think that you have to call what you were doing satanic practices. I think you are safe to say it was naive, if you feel within your worldview that it was that you didn't know any better, and it sounds like you think maybe you didn't, so that you were deceived or tricked.
The New Age and witchcraft and light work and Reiki healing and all of that stuff. Now, I was friends with Satanists, and one of them said to me one day, to be initiated into his coven, his satanic coven, the way in which they did that, he told me that the ritual, what they did, and basically they stripped him naked, they tied him up in a stressed position, I think in like a bit of a fetal position, but on his feet, so he couldn't really move, and they tied him up and they blindfolded him and they whipped him.
Was it a satanic dungeon? Because you don't have to be in any of the satanic practices that I'm familiar with. It doesn't involve like torture. It's indulgent, unless you like being whipped and tied up and stuff. Then yes, your satanic practices can include that, but they're not gonna. At least none of the Satanists that I've been involved with, you absolutely wouldn't want to do something that you didn't want to indulge in, because it is about indulging in your needs. So yeah, if that's your kink, then more power to you, baby. But I don't think that there are, at least not in my experience, too many satanic temples out there where you get tied up and beaten against the will.
Very hard for a very long time, until he came to this point where he was like out of his body, where he was in this hypnosis state. And this was so that he could invoke spirits willingly, aligning with the devil.
Whip it good.
So that he could have knowledge and power, ultimately to feed pride. He wouldn't say that, but it was so he had knowledge and power. Now he's willingly doing that. They willingly do that. They willingly put themselves and the group in a traumatic experience, inflict trauma to fracture the person and allow a gateway through for the demonic to.
Yeah, I don't know what sort of people this guy was looped in with, but it sounds like it was a very toxic and abusive environment. Now, is this something that really happened, or is this satanic? Because a lot of what she said does correlate with the things that were said about Satanists during the Satanic Panic that are, for the most part, unfounded, and there was a lot of it that was drawn from hypnosis and things like that, which, as we all know, is not a great way to establish truth of something's history, right?
Possess the person. Now they're willingly doing it, but Satanists do that to children. They do that to children. And when you are invested in the devil, when you're putting all of your energy and time and devotion, and I mean they are devoted, when you're doing that, and you know that on Halloween night is the night where you probably will get the most investment, most return, the most reward, the outcome will be most likely to do what you want. Just think about how many children are going through that on Halloween night?
Because the candy, or what do you do on, what do the children do on Halloween night that is getting them all emotionally tied up in this?
Now, there's on the surface of you dress the children up and taking them out and knocking on doors and getting sweets, and it's all lovely, but you're part of a ceremony of dark magic.
What is the dark part, though? What is the dark part of this this ceremony? Sounds so far it's sounding pretty good. It's sounding like, yeah, you go out, you get candy. No other no other results. No other, I mean, maybe a bellyache if you eat too much candy.
And that's the truth. There is so much evil in this world. And on Halloween night, we can't just pretend like it's all fun and games, because it's not. You know, the Lord was speaking to me today a lot about
Maya Atkinson Lovejoy on the screen.
your will, your free will. And I remember when I was being trained by some witches who were hedge witches, and they were also Reiki practitioners, energy healers, as well as shamans and ayahuasca. They did ayahuasca ceremonies and did energy healing during those ceremonies. They were many things. And I came under them, and they started teaching me more and opening me up more to more. Yeah, you know. And one time when they were doing Reiki on,
Does it sound like maybe she had a bad trip? That's what, because she keeps about ayahuasca. It sounds she had a bad ayahuasca trip and decided that all the stuff that she was doing was demonic. That's what it sounds like to me. But if you think it's different,
on me, and I was learning to read auras, and they said that they saw my spirit guide. They described it exactly how I knew my spirit guides to look like. And they said to me, they're here telling me that I need to help align your chakra about free will. They want to help you activate completely your own free will to them. I was so deceived, and I was like, great, working on that area of my chakras and
yeah, sounds like you had good intentions.
doing mantras and different things to align with what now I know as demons.
Or the bad trip, the electric elf machine elves.
But the Lord put it into my remembrance today about it being about my free will. That's what they were after.
You know, that whole neighborhood smells like patchouli, Big Bad Mama. The whole neighborhood.
They were after my total and utter will. My will. There is power in our will, in man's free will. God's given us free will. Do we align our will with the devil, or do we align our will with God?
Or one of many gods you could align your will with if you want to. It's not a dichotomy. And that's what Christianity has done to you. It's given you this notion that no matter what your former faith was, you should view it now as demonic and be ashamed of it. And I'm here to tell you, girl, that you don't got to. That even if within your internal critique as a Christian, you can say, I did not know, and ask for forgiveness, right? But you need to let other people live their lives and have their experiences. Just because you had what I think was a bad drug experience that was related with a spiritual awakening that you were going through, that turned you off to these pagan practices. I don't know that you should be admonishing the entirety of all alternative faiths from Christianity.
And whoever we align with is who will use us. You know how the Lord is such a gentleman. The Lord.
Wait, what? Are you talking about your Lord? Dash the baby's heads on the rock, Lord? That guy? Bring your firstborn son up to the mountain? Sacrifice him? The firstborn of Egypt? That gentleman? The one who impregnated the 13-year-old girl? That gentleman?
Lord is just so beautiful. He will never force himself on anyone.
Tell
No,
that to Mary.
that is not our Lord. He waits for you at the door, for you to knock, and he opens. What does the devil do? The devil is persistently at your door knocking, knocking, knocking. Oh, maybe this person at the door is okay. Maybe they're.
Am I roboting? Yeah, if I'm roboting. Oh man. And there's nothing else hooked up to the internet right now either. And you all know I'm on Wi-Fi because the Ethernet port doesn't work on this laptop for whatever reason. So I have to deal with that too. Hopefully we'll get someplace better.
They're dressed nice. They're dressed as an angel. Maybe I'll open the door to them. No.
Don't open your door to angels. About a lot.
See, this whole thing is a mockery. You have children who the devil is trying to claim to take to hell, embodying the character of the devil, coming to your door, knocking on your door, and expecting you to give him an offering.
The devil was an angel anyway, so I mean, having the sorry, I was distracted by Robert. Good day, sir. Hope you are well. Hope you are enjoying our countdown to Halloween as we work our way through these evangelical folks. We've did Jenny Weaver. We've done Bob Larson. Tonight we have Jesus is Truth, ex-witch. Tomorrow we will have John Ramirez, ex-warlock, and then we have a new surprise one for Sunday night, and then of course Monday is Halloween. I'm not sure exactly how I'm going to wrap this up, but we also do have live from the Hive tomorrow morning, so that is something to look forward to. Well, Hive, it's going to be Halloween. I'm like all about Halloween, but we're going to get a CryptoCorner Halloween spotlight, and we are going to get another. It's not going to be one like this. Well, it's going to be kind of like this, but not really. You'll see. You'll like it. It's somebody we've never covered on this channel before, but they're really big and popular. I'm kind of shocked that we haven't covered them until now, but they're finally doing something that's caught my eye. So we are going to bring up somebody new to the channel. So it's a surprise. I'm not going to give it away, but if you are interested in finding that out, that's 9:30 a.m. tomorrow. We're just about to wrap up with Jesus is Truth here too. We just got about 4 more minutes of video. That 4 more minutes has been 20 minutes of me yammering. So
to give him a sacrifice, to bow down at him and join in with his games. It's just so evil. It's so evil. And
I still haven't had and maybe I missed it. Put it in the live chat if I did. What evil though? What is the evil things that are happening? She keeps talking about, oh, you're participating in these dark rituals. It's completely evil. These entities are evil. They're going to do evil things. What is the evil? I haven't heard what it is yet.
You know, I understand things like the occult or witchcraft. You might not have even known. You just thought, oh, it's just fun and games. But the root of this, the history of this is evil, and the very essence of it on that night is so evil. So evil. Even if there are shamans
Hey Ox, hey Pixie. Good evening, good evening. Glad you're here.
or Wiccans or, you know, energy healers or white witches, or, you know, people that think that they're doing good and they're doing good rituals and they're doing ceremonies to love, they don't know who they're worshipping.
Hey Lisa.
The Satanists do, but the others don't. They think that they're worshipping, well, I thought I was worshipping the universe, you know. People think that they're worshipping Mother Earth, Gaia, you know.
Well, then you were, because it's no more different than if I said, oh, you know, in my belief, your God is a demon. That doesn't mean that your God's a demon and you have to accept that. Before you were a Christian, when you were a neo-pagan or into the New Age scene, that does not make you automatically, oh, I was a Satanist, I was worshiping Satan. You were not actively worshiping Satan. You were not in a position, you were thought you were doing good works. So with that, an internal critique, again, please don't admonish yourself for something that now in hindsight is a naivety. That's not healthy for you moving forward. That's not healthy for you to express yourself as a person, and you definitely shouldn't hold other people to the standards of your past history and the mistakes that you might have made along the way.
Trees, whatever, worshipping nature. But when you are not worshipping the one true creator God, our Lord, if you're not looking to Jesus and him.
I never did get my slutty Freddy Krueger costume set up. Sorry, guys. It's not happening this year. Just cards didn't pan out.
What are you looking at? And the Lord made it very clear to me that I was looking at doctrines of demons, and I was looking at I was doing the devil's work.
Yeah, because to become a Christian, you have to accept that that's part of becoming a Christian, that any other previously held beliefs you had have to be demonic. That's a requirement before you are allowed to say, yes, I'm a Christian. Well, it was like slutty, a sexy Freddy Krueger or whatever. People call it slutty, but yeah, it's the Freddy Krueger sweater dress. I have the hat and claw and stuff, but I don't have them here. Yeah.
When I wasn't with the Lord, I was doing the devil's work. I was leading people into this like beautiful time of light on their merry way to hell. That's where I was going.
But if there is no hell, then you were just leading them to light, right? It's because you didn't do anything wrong. You gave them sounds like positive. You put positivity into their life, give them positive reinforcement. You weren't doing bad things.
And that's where I was taking people with me when it came to working on yourself. And so I think that's all I wanted to say about Halloween. It's the analogy there of how people would dress up like demons and try and conform so they wouldn't get messed with as much. That is a massive lie of the devil. Because the ones that don't get messed with as much, they're already his. Don't align yourself with the devil.
But if you don't believe in the devil and you do believe in pagan deities, you can align yourself and not feel bad and be forced to feel like you're communing with the devil. I'm just coming up to bat for pagans a lot this week because again, it was stuff that I got into when I was younger. I sympathize with anybody who's into it and encourage people to explore different aspects of belief system and kind of see, when you do magic spells, what the success rate is. Same with anybody who prays. When you pray, what's the success rate of your prayers? Just keep that in mind. Is what you're doing, is it just going through ritual motions because they're cultural for you?
So we are going to meet as a church.
Yeah, the rest of this is just her talking about her church on Halloween. So we're not gonna go into that, but let's see here. This one. So we got this one coming up tomorrow. Another The Truth About Halloween video. Then we have this one coming up on Sunday, which is a psychic, or ex-psychic, giving us dire warnings about spiritual danger. Halloween opens demonic doors. So that'll be a fun one. And then, yeah, I haven't decided what I was doing on Halloween Day yet. I did find this lady too, who is I don't know if I'm going to do her Halloween video or not, but she's got kind of an interesting perspective on belief, and I wanted to see maybe if she has some content. So I may maybe not for the Halloween stuff, but I may revisit this channel. I don't know. Yeah. So that was part 3 of this little series counting down to Halloween. We got a different evangelical influencer, I guess we could call him, every night this week this weekend until Halloween. And then, we have Halloween Day. So looks like I'm starting to really robot now. I'm going to go ahead and wrap up the stream, let everybody know to be kind and take care. And I'll see some of you in the morning, maybe for live from the Hive, 9:30 a.m. I look forward to it. And stay spooky out there.